Hey there, I'm the Mad Catcher. Am I glad to see you here? Thank you for joining me for this special edition of the Daily Docket. Today we've got a wild and crazy one, and we're going to be talking about Britney Spears' ex-husband, Jason Alexander, the one who only lasted 55 hours. So let's jump into it. Thank you for joining me for this, the third installment of the Daily Docket. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to have an expanded edition in terms of we're only going to cover one subject tonight because there's a lot of crazy to unpack. So without further ado, let's get started. Some of you may remember that back in 2004, Britney Spears went a little off the rails when she married on the spur of the moment Jason Alexander, and they were only married for 55 hours before the marriage was annulled. And that's because apparently it was a drunken stupor, I don't know what you'd call it. But anyways, Jason Alexander's claim to fame really is the 55 hours that he was married to Britney Spears. So anyways, this guy over the years has kind of popped up here and there with respect to Britney, and also because he's been in trouble with the law. But apparently this past weekend, just a couple days ago, he was spotted outside of Britney Spears' parents' house, and he actually did some filming and went on a rant on social media and filmed himself and put some pictures up with some really bizarre language attached to them, and just really crazy, really kind of frightening, the fact that he was actually at the Spears house. You know, whatever you think of Britney's parents, and I don't hold them in particularly high regard, it's still pretty frightening to have this guy show up at your house, especially because recently he's had some issues with the law where he's been arrested a couple of times for a variety of incidents where he's shown a little bit less than stable conduct. And in fact, he's been particularly outspoken about his views on the pandemic and also on flat earth, which is, really, you get the idea of what his mindset is. But anyway, so apparently Britney's family said that they were disturbed after learning that her ex-husband Jason Alexander lurked outside their homes over the weekend, a source told Page Six, which is a media outlet that covers like celebrity gossip. The source also said that they think it's incredibly inappropriate and downright weird, to say the least. And it's bad enough the family has to deal with fans getting too close for comfort. Well, you know what? I don't have any sympathy there, but they'd like to think that they can expect more from Jason, who claims to still have so much love and respect for Britney. And in fact, he has shown up at Free Britney rallies before, voicing his support for Britney. He claims to still be on good terms with her. So this is just bizarre. But when you hear about these next couple of incidents recently he's been involved in, you'll see that this may be a pattern of perhaps declining mental health. I don't know. So anyway, he showed up to Britney's mother, Lynn Spears' Serenity Estate in Kentwood, Louisiana, late Sunday night, so just yesterday, and he posted 2 videos and a photo of the exterior of Mrs. Spears' house to his private Instagram account, which is, again, weird. And one of the pictures, he put a caption on it, says, "Daddy Spears hiding behind gates," and he tagged at Britney Spears, referencing, of course, Jamie Spears, the very controversial and deservedly so despised, I think, in my opinion, father of Britney Spears, who is the architect of the whole fiasco of a conservatorship, what I think is absolutely criminal. As an attorney, I won't get into it now, but conservatorships I've dealt with before, but they're usually for elderly people or people who have mental impairment, or minors sometimes, but not usually for adults like Britney, who are out working and showing that they're otherwise in control of their faculties and handling and conducting themselves on a day-to-day basis. But we're not going to rehash conservatorship in this video. But so one of the videos that Jason Alexander posted to his private Instagram, he noted that the lights inside Mrs. Spears' house appeared to be on, saying it looks like there's some people there now. The mom's there anyway. That's really cryptic. And, like I said, whatever you think of Britney's parents, I'd be a little scared of this guy. Then an unidentified woman who was with him in his truck could be heard reciting a bizarre prayer, cursing every evil deed spoken or thought about on Lynn's property. Bizarre. So he's got somebody with him too who's equally unstable, it sounds like. In his Instagram live earlier on Sunday, which I'm going to post a little bit of here, he said that he also planned to visit Britney's childhood home, which Jamie Spears sold for $275,000 back in February of 2021, so just last year, as well as the camper that Britney's uncle Willie Spears lives in. It's not clear whether he actually went to those places, but again, it's just a very alarming and concerning pattern of conduct and things that he's saying that raise a lot of alarms, I think, and a lot of red flags with people and with authorities. Last Tuesday, Jason Alexander had gone on Instagram Live and he went on a bizarre, rambling 25-minute rant following an arrest he had recently for breaking a restraining order. He's also been arrested at an airport not too long ago for violating some TSA policy. It's not really clear what happened, but in this last instance, after he was released from jail because he worked out a plea deal. So the bizarre, rambling 25-minute rant on Instagram was following his second arrest in just the last several months. Jason Alexander, he was arrested not that long ago on December 30th for allegedly violating, as I said, a restraining order. And he was held in Williamson County Jail in Franklin, Tennessee. He was charged with violation of an order of protection as well as aggravated S-word. His bond was set at $30,000, but then on Monday, January 10th, the district attorney informed the media that on Tuesday, January 4th, Jason Alexander actually had pleaded guilty to misdemeanor and he will be on probation for a year, during which time he'll have a mental health screening, which it sounds like he really, really needs. And he will also have random drug testing. Now, I don't know if you can see some of these pictures I'm going to post, from not that long ago compared with just very recently. He really looks terrible. He's very gaunt. And I don't know whether that has something to do with maybe substance abuse, because I know he's had issues with that in the past, or what the story is, or whether he's got some kind of illness, but he really does not look well, and he doesn't sound well either. Back in August 2021, as I was stating, he was arrested for a misdemeanor air security violation. But another bizarre thing that I was reading about was that, back in 2004, of course, he made headlines because of the 55-hour marriage to Britney Spears, but then he made some claims not too long ago that after Britney had testified about her conservatorship, Jason Alexander came forward and made the claim that her team forced them apart. And actually, you guys know Cedric. He's sort of the attention hog when I'm doing these things. But Jason Alexander claimed that Britney's team told him that if he signed the annulment papers, that they would allow him to continue his relationship with Britney, which, first of all, I don't know whether to believe that. It sounds a little bizarre to me. But second of all, who would believe that? Clearly if they're controlling her every move and they're getting him to sign annulment papers, that means that they want him out of the picture. And he claims that he had no reason to believe otherwise, and so he signed the papers. Again, I think that was a little bit naive, but he said that claims that after the annulment, they were talking every day and that he was being allowed to have phone communications with her, but then it was abruptly cut off. And a month after the annulment, he says that they changed Britney's phone number and he was no longer able to get in touch with her. And that I do believe, because we know that they were controlling her communications, and I would not put it past them to have done that. So I do believe him when he says that. Just a year ago, in January 2021, Jason Alexander was arrested and charged with driving under the influence, as well as with unlawful use of drug paraphernalia and possession or casual exchange of a controlled substance. That case is still open. My guess is he probably took a plea deal for that one as well. I don't know. But anyways, if I were Jamie Spears and Lynn Spears, I would be very concerned, and I would probably get an order of protection or restraining order against him, and certainly I would heighten my security. I'm not a big fan of Mr. and Mrs. Spears, but I also certainly don't want to see them come to any harm. So I think that if they're smart, that they'll step up security and they'll get the authorities involved. I don't think he's particularly broken any law because he didn't actually go onto the property, but it's just really bizarre and it's really concerning. And I think his mental health showing signs of being under duress. So anyways, that's the story about Britney's ex and what's going on with him. I'll let you know if there are any developments in the story. But I thank you so much for joining me for this installment. I know you guys have left some good comments about the shorter installments. I actually was working on a video about the legal issues with Travis Scott and Astroworld, and then got thrown completely onto another tangent. So I also have another story that I was working on today. So I've got those two stories, and I'll probably post the one that I got thrown off on a tangent on first. I hope to do that tomorrow. And then Travis Scott will be towards the end of the week. And that's an in-depth story. Both of those are in-depth stories, and we'll do a cat introduction. I know some of you said, oh, we missed the cats in the short versions. I just don't have time. You know, the idea of the short version is not to get really involved, but as you can see, they do make appearances. Cedric's here, and Clarice was here. She was up in the back. And my deaf cat, who you haven't met yet, his name is Stefan. I call him Squeaky because of the way he sounds, but he was born deaf. He is a white cat, and he was just here, but he decided to go lay down because when it's time for bed, he likes to let me know that he's ready to go to bed, and he'll sit there with his eyes half open waiting for me. And when I go upstairs, he gets into bed, he lays down, and he likes to lay against my leg so that if I move during the night or get up during the night, he can feel it, and it wakes him up because, of course, he's deaf. But he sleeps through the whole night. He just such a good cat, but you'll meet him soon, maybe in this next video that I'm going to make. But again, thank you very much for joining me. Hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you in the next one.
Pretty please. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell. I get a treat for every new sub. Thank you.